Welcome everyone to our Tuesday night chat. I'm Kelly Wilkins, your host on the My Self-Reliance channel, and tonight is a really fun one because we're just all getting together and sharing. I'm going to open up the mic and you guys all can jump on and share, but I have a few announcements that some things that are happening on the My Self-Reliance channel. So it's really, sometimes in this group we have a guest speaker. Tonight there's no other guest speaker, it's us, so that we can connect with each other. And really what it's all about is bringing community together. When we meet each other online, then we can often find out where people are, and like I had a neighbor who got on the chat, and now I know that there's some other like-minded people in my area that I wouldn't have known if this wasn't available. So it's so cool that you can all be on tonight. And after our fabulous weekend at Hearthground for our permaculture, it was just such a magical weekend to learn and get back to nature and to spend time with amazing people. And Prue was there, Emma and Andrew were there, and I might open up the chat and to these guys and let them share what they loved about the course. And while you're getting your thoughts together about that, about what you want to share, we had David Holberton running our program, and he is such a beautiful soul. We had Yia and Nick who were hosting the event, and it was such a beautiful location. And so we were able to stay in these most amazing little caravans, which Yia has delicately designed everyone. And I just felt like we were just so nurtured and loved on the whole weekend, and the learning and the conversations that took place were, I guess, natural, organic. There was so much that happened aside from the permaculture course that was just really unique to this weekend. So Prue or Emma, do you want to elaborate on what you got out of the weekend? What did you like about it?
Yeah, I'll go. I found it very transformative, actually, and for those reasons you were saying, Kelly, where just meeting up with people that were on the same wavelength, having a cooperative sort of vibe where we brought food together, shared food, made food. Though I must admit, one person in particular was particularly prolific with providing us with sustenance and delicious food. But the process of that organic sharing of skills and talents, there was enough time to really get to know each other. But there was plenty of, well, for me in particular, I guess, because I'm fairly new to permaculture, just plenty of information to take on board. David was really great in transmitting information and allowing space for people to add from their experiences. Yeah, stuff that I can get into straight away, and stuff that I may never use personally for myself, but being aware of it. I think it's just really great that if a friend gets involved or gets a plot of land, I know that I can at least assist them to know what the possibilities are. Yeah, it was a very magical weekend. I love the way that we were tuning into the specific land, and you know, I wasn't really tuning into the permaculture features because I wasn't really sure what to look for there. But just the fact that we had that time to really tune into that specific land and the features of the land before we even started our tuition. And I think it was very grounding. I really love that we did that together, but in silence. And yeah, such a magical property. Yeah, I agree. It was really magical having those little touches that Year provided, you know, with the places that we slept in and the kitchen area, the living area, and the tent, the red tent. Yeah, it's just a very nurtured, well-nurtured place that has a lot of beautiful energy, that natural energy, and also energy that Nick and Nia and others who visited that place were sort of building up beautiful energy.
I have heard from a few people that they found it very transformative. What did you find about it that it did for you, transformation wise?
I think well, I only say that because I woke up, was it this morning? Or I think it was this morning. No, it was yesterday. So when I got home and had a sleep, and then I woke up and the word transformation came to mind, the first thing. So I thought, oh yeah, it was transformative. But I think it was all those things I just said then. Sort of, you know, getting to know different people that I may not normally meet, in the beautiful, you know, the energy was so vibrant in that property. I think David himself is quite a transformational sort of person.
Do you feel like you got to know yourself a little bit better?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think so. Transformation always is about yourself, isn't it?
Uncovering some layers, yeah.
Yeah, and being just so in the natural environment, and just not, as I'm a bit of an introvert, so just being with other people for extended periods, and knowing that even though I've done that a bit lately, but it's always a bit of a eye-opener when you think, oh, I actually enjoyed that and I could handle that extended period of time. You know, being with other people, it wasn't a big deal. That sort of thing is quite transformational for an introvert.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that, Prue.
Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah, you're a beautiful person, and I'm so glad you were there, because it was a little bit touch and go for you for a while. I was like, can I make it? Can I not? Yeah, but you made it happen.
Yeah, I'm glad you worked out that I got the days wrong.
We look after each other. That's awesome.
Thanks, Kelly.
How about for you, Emma and Andrew?
Yeah, look, if I can give people a tip, especially if you've been invited to an event that is 1 or 2 nights sleep away, make sure you arrive before it gets dark. Because we had a camper, thank God it was 4-wheel drive, but trying to navigate our way through dark, with no light, and then almost parking on the sacred circle. Sorry, yeah. So note to self, always remember, give yourself enough time to arrive on time. I don't know if transformational is a term that I would use for myself, but I can say that very first night, somebody fed us because we were late. So I'm grateful for that. But there was like a room full of strangers. There were about 15 people of us. And one by one, we went around to introduce ourselves. And what an array of backgrounds, experiences, locations of people were in that room. and we're all strangers. And I felt that come Saturday night, Sunday night, maybe about a third of the people had left, but I felt like I had connection, and people were swapping names and numbers. So I felt that community by the time people had left, which is one of the reasons that attracted me to what you're doing, Kelly, with the Myself Alliance, is connecting people, making people aware that if they want to connect, there are environments to do that. And then amongst that, learning about permaculture, I'm sure, as we all are very aware about the need to be self-reliant. So I'm seeing gardening, well, I have maybe for a while now seen in a whole new light, especially through Andrew. These thumbs know how to mow a lawn. Yeah. I've got the green thumbs for mowing a lawn, but I've been able to embrace all things permaculture, learning from David. I mean, one of the first things he'd said is he took us through an observation journey. I think it was one of the first things that we did. So just walking around Nick and Year's property, and basically he was asking us, what do you see? And it's, so then it sort of helps you when you sort of, the next stage of you planning, if you want to set up your own garden, those observations. So source of water, I guess the lie of the land, certain zones for certain plants. I had no idea. Got introduced to a composting. I've been to composting toilets before, but now seeing a composting toilet, a working one that has been used to make compost that can be used in an orchard, and understanding the difference between compost that you'd use in your root vegetables versus using it for your tree. Note again, don't use that shit on the vegetables in the soil. Use it for your fruit trees. It's a freebie there. It's me.
Yeah, you covered that pretty well. Yeah, the only few things I'd add to that is, yeah, the community connection is always a standout with these sort of things. And yeah, David's hands-on approach. You know, a lot of these things you rattle off a whole lot of theory, and then when you go home, you can't remember anything. And it sounded good at the time, but then you go back home and like, how do I apply that? But the way David does it is you actually getting in there and you're doing stuff, and it's not, he doesn't bombard it with a whole lot of theory, but stuff that you can actually apply. Yeah, I find that the observation exercise is very valuable, and you get better at it each time you do it, because you train your mind to look at different things. The first time you just only see the obvious stuff, but the more you do it, you pick up the more subtle things, and you don't realize the significance of the subtle things initially, but as the picture comes together, you kind of realize the significance of those little subtle things. So yeah, I find that very valuable. So that's probably the main thing that I got out of it.
Yeah, beautiful. It's so true, Andrew. That we all went on the same walk, and we all came up with different things, and it's a kind of a metaphor for life, isn't it? What you view and becomes your reality. But when you train yourself to look at things in a certain way, you know, the way that it can benefit you then when you're seeing with different eyes. Yeah, 100%. And Kay has just joined us, and Kay is this beautiful soul who knows how to cook and make everyone feel so loved with her amazing food. And Kay, you love the permaculture conversation. Tell us, what did you love out of being there on the weekend? What did you get out of it?
I'm a total groupie now. Like I'm just totally hooked. I mean, I was 40 years ago and getting back to it. You know, it's just been so refreshing. And like, how different was it from the permaculture from we did at Andrew and Emma's to down there? Like, just, I mean, they were all both amazing and wonderful and fabulous. You know, I just can't get enough of it. I just, you know, I'd do it every weekend if I could. But I guess what I got out of it, yeah, like Andrew was saying, that sense of community, like just how fantastic, you know, it was. And I really feel connected to the group. Yeah. And I think spending the 3 days rather than just the 1 day, you know, you really knit those relationships together, and how important that is at this time. And I just, you know, just loved everyone, and just like, you know, felt a little bit sad that we all had to part. And, you know, and I think that's why I sort of burst into tears in the red tent, because it was just like this, you know, you're in this bubble, and then suddenly the realization of, oh, I've got to go back to real life now. Bah! And, you know, not going to have that amazing support. You know, it's just, it's so fabulous to be in that environment, and just to be doing positive stuff. Like, I think it really had such a great effect on Nick and Nia. Like, I think they've been, you know, suffering quite a lot with the stress, and, you know, they've been in a trauma. You know, they've been traumatized, and I think, you know, that you could really see it from the flood. Yeah. And just, you know, having that overwhelming sense of can't do anything, don't know where to start, so much to do, you know, just, yeah. So I think that was really positive, because both very dynamic, amazing people, a little bit daunting, I must say, especially Yia. She's got that, like, you know, don't F with me sort of attitude. I wouldn't want to get in an argument with her. Like, you know, I'd be crushed. But anyway, but yeah, just loved all that. And, you know, just being in nature like that, just, and when I came back yesterday, oh my God, I was just like, I didn't realize how elevated I felt, and like just being, and like, I just feel like that now too. Like, I still feel incredibly, I mean, exhausted, but just like feel really elevated and hypersensitive, and coming back into suburbia was so crazy, because I just wanted to hide. I didn't want to be in suburbia anymore. It was kind of scary. So yeah. Yeah, so that was great. And yeah, and I think, yeah, also agree with Andrew. I didn't hear what Emma said, but just the observation thing is kind of interesting. Just seeing like, that's the beauty of permaculture, you know, learning to read nature, and like how David gives us those skills so we can, you know, see where the water flows, feel the wind, look at track the sun, test the soil's acidity, you know, do all those things. Anyway, I shouldn't talk so much. You know me. I'll be talking for hours if you let me.
No, I think everyone's
yeah.
getting a really good sense of what they can expect out of a permaculture course from what you just said. So.
Oh, really? Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. No, it was well worth the, you know, the inconvenience, and, you know, being in that tiny little caravan the size of a shoebox, which I lovingly called the fridge. I'm your friend. I'm your friend in the fridge.
Oh my gosh, it's funny.
Oh, and Kath has just joined us. Welcome, Kath.
Hello. Sorry, can
See
you
ya.
hear?
We can hear you. We can't see you. I don't know. Oh,
Oh, there she
you are.
is.
Beautiful.
I was just putting face cream on.
Hi, Kath.
Lovely. So, Kath, we're all just sharing about what we got out of the weekend, and Prue started us off saying it was transformational, and Emma and Andrew have just shared. What was it like for you? Oh, are you still there, Kath? Where'd you go? I lost you.
She's on her phone. Is she there?
Oh, I think we lost her.
Oh, she'll come back.
Yeah, she'll pop back in.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was lovely. She did tell me that she connected with UK, and I think it's really important, those connections, because there's something that's someone else is experiencing that maybe you've experienced, and when you can connect with someone else, you feel like you're not alone, and you feel like you're not the only one going through it, and you can draw on their strength and to
Yeah.
walk beside each other to and that's what we need more of. And I think the beautiful thing about the permaculture, when you look at it on a holistic scale, is it's not just about how to integrate growing food in a natural way, but how you do that on a social scale. You use the permaculture principles, and David calls it zone 0. So it's like the internal, right? So you start in here, and how you are inside is how you are everywhere. Like it affects all of our choices, it affects all of our conversations, which has a knock-on effect to how we experience life. And so I think the beautiful thing for me is that as we become more adept with the permaculture and ourselves and having these experiences, it really does lead to having more of that community-based living. I know, like you said, Kay, it was like hard to come back into suburbia. You just wanted to be with these beautiful people and be connected. Well, the more people who undergo that transformation, it allows for that beautiful community living, if that's where you wanted to end up one day.
And with that, Kelly, I just wanted to add, the connection to nature. I just think, we've all lost our way a little bit with that. And like permaculture really does give you all those practical skills of reconnecting, not only with nature, but, a way to feed yourself, a way to, get a positive lifestyle, like all the good that gardening does for your psychology, all that, exercise, mental health and stability, all that stuff, so that's another thing that, is such an important aspect to permaculture and gardening in general. So
yeah, that's why we felt so good when we got our hands in the dirt.
Yeah.
That explains it.
More of that.
Beautiful. Well, we do have some more permaculture workshops coming up, and because we've got also heading into the colder seasons, we're actually not going to do overnight stays until we get into spring. But in June, we've already set up to do our next one, a day trip on the northern beaches in Sydney on the 18th of June. So stay tuned for that. We will post more details. And so that'll be, we're going to target specific things that is really David's strength. So you get all the best of David's knowledge on that one day. And he's particularly good at working with water and how to use it in the smartest way. And look, we when we're being saturated with it, how we can use it and not be bombarded with it. Yeah, really, really powerful. And then machinery. He's so good with working with machinery and designs of the land. So stay tuned for that. We also have, oh, Kath, you're back.
Yeah, my phone went flat and I'm in the bus now, so I can stay now.
So, Kath, did you want to share anything with us about how your weekend was?
Wow. Well, yes, I was really stunned at how holistic the whole thing is. And I don't know what the dynamic was, whether it was from Yair and Nick and the place or David and everyone there, I don't know, it felt so spiritual and so healing and inclusive, and just a really beautiful experience. Practical stuff as well, but it was more, for me, it was more about how everyone was just so lovely. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, beautiful. It's hard to put into words, isn't it?
It is really, yeah.
Yeah, that's gorgeous, and I'm so excited to hear that. You know, it's really nice that people come away learning things, but those dynamics you just can't script. You know, you can't plan for it. And that's what happens. And so, you know, we're going to get another beautiful group coming through on Saturday with our canning course. So Atta's taking our canning this weekend. Now, for anyone who didn't get to book in for canning this weekend, we have one on the 14th of May. And there's only a few spots left in that one. So that's vegetable canning. We'll cover off some fruit as well. And then on the 28th of May, we're actually having the meat canning. So we haven't opened the registration for that. But if you're planning to come to the meat canning, there's only 14 places available. Oh, did I get that right, Atta? Can we, is there room for 14, or do we need to make it smaller? Because 14 is quite large. Make it smaller, more like 12. Yeah, cut it off at 12.
Yeah, we won't be able to fit everyone's jars in the pots, and that will take much longer. So let's make it 12, and if you will need to make another one, we'll make another one.
Of course. Okay.
Can
So-
I interrupt? Can I interrupt, Kelly? Sorry to
Yes.
do that. Is it possible to do it on another day besides Saturday? Because I'd love to have a
We could do a
come, but-
Friday. How about a Friday?
yeah, Friday would
I
be
can do
fine.
it Friday still, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I'd be on for a Friday more than a Saturday.
Perfect.
Okay. For meat, right, Cheryl? For meat?
For meat.
Yeah, for meat.
For meat,
Any
yeah.
Yes.
any of them.
Okay, we're diarising the Friday, so stay tuned for that. We'll get a Friday one out to you.
Oh,
Brilliant.
yes.
Okay, now there's some other things that that the permaculturists know, because I shared with that on the weekend. But I want to open up to everyone to let you know the plans that are coming up in July. We are running a self-reliance summit. What that looks like is 10 days of speakers on all topics, covering off homesteading, which is all the things that you can make and grow at home and do yourself, you know, clothing and food and, you know, growing things. And so that's homesteading, health, so including natural health, oils and herbs, homeopathy. So we'll cover off communities, mindset, money, off-grid building, solar, all the beautiful topics that people want to learn about that we can help you get out of the system. And we will have 2 speakers a day over in a calendar that you'll be able to know when the speakers are coming up and, you know, kind of plan for them. But if you don't get to see them live, and it'll be in a Zoom setting, so that if you want to be in there and, you know, ask your questions, you'll be able to do that. But also that if you don't get to see it live, then you'll be able to watch it later, watch it on the replay. So that'll be an option. And then there'll be a members area, so that if you want to purchase an upgrade package, you'll be able to get to keep all of the speakers and be able to revisit them anytime, because there'll be a limited time to be able to go back and watch them for free, and then you'll be able to have a complete package of the 10 days workshops. In addition to that, what we're doing is having in-person events, not just in Sydney, but in Queensland, in WA, and we want to get in touch. It's a bit like an expo, but it's going to be happening everywhere. It's Australian based. I know there's lots of information that people can glean overseas and especially the US, but we need homegrown information. We need homegrown talent. We want homegrown solutions. So if you know of anyone who is doing amazing things in your area and you think that they should be showcased, or we should know about it, and they could be added to a directory, that if you wanted to look up somebody who is talented in making their own elderberry lemonade, for instance, then, you know, these are the person that you could go to and learn about that. How do I want to make, you know, my own goat's milk soap or something? There's a topic for everything, right? And we have the skills in our communities for people to learn. And that's what I want to help people do, to connect with other communities. There's some really amazing people who are, you know, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. That's already out there doing things, but we want to connect everyone together and know where that if you're moving to Queensland, you would know how to find those resources there. So that's starting on the 18th of July, and over 10 days. We'll probably take the Sunday off and just have some in-person events on the Saturday that you can book into and connect with, and, you know, as many in-person things as possible is always good. So I invite you to all be my eyes and ears and feedback. Anyone that you think that should be a part of that. So that's a really exciting time. I also have this sense of urgency. For myself, I kind of see where things lining up about to July. And then for me, after July, things are a little bit up in the air. I was going to say a little bit dark, but I can't really see further into that. So I have this sense of urgency that we have a amount of time where we're able to access these key learnings, communities, connection, and we need to use these times wisely. So I don't know if I'm the only one thinking that way. I've kind of talked to a few people that it's kind of like, yeah, up till about July, there's this like view of how the world is looking. And then after that, it's kind of like a little bit unknown. So, you know, we kind of are wise up on this group that we get ahead, we plan for the worst and hope for the best. And then we're never afraid of anything that could sneak up on us because we are prepared. In mind, I am going to run a how to put together your own 72-hour kit. So I believe very strongly that everybody should have a 72-hour pack or a bug out bag or a grab and go bag, and that is your emergency bag that is easy to get to. It's packed with everything that you need to help you to survive for 3 days. So if you can survive those first 3 days in more comfort than you know, survival, then you will actually do better off. And so every person in the family should have their own bug out bag. So a lot of people are like, well, hang on, where do I get started? How do I put that together? How am I going to do that? So I'm actually going to run that a 72-hour, and I might, because you guys talked about doing a Friday, then I was looking for an available Saturday, but I think maybe you're right. Let's go for a Friday.
Yay.
Yay. Or a Monday or a Sunday, because I work Thursday, Fridays.
Ah.
Really?
Yeah, well,
Sunday
what's
was-
the- yeah, those end of the week we could definitely do.
Sunday
days
and
of the week.
Monday are good for me too, so that's okay, Kath. They suit me too.
Well, we do have a Monday public holiday coming up in June. I don't know if that's worth kind of scheduling something there, or
It's
yeah,
too far
so
away, isn't it, Kelly? Should we have something sooner?
we need something a little bit sooner, don't you think? But we do
Yeah.
have a survival bushcraft camp coming up in May,
What date is
which
it again?
is a little bit now I'm there's a few things that are happening on that weekend, one of which is the election. So
Oh.
yeah, the 21st of May is the election, and I would normally go with a postal vote, but this one seems a little bit more, people are like,
Open
do
to
you
dodge.
vote? Do you not vote? Well, if you're going to vote, I think it's more important that you're there in person voting.
Yeah, I think there's a whole lot going on with this one, and postal votes in France, the opposition to Macron was torn, so they were automatically excluded from the vote, and that came in a sealed envelope, done like that.
Right. Yeah, so
Right.
that's what I'm feeling that is important. This one is that if you have an idea that you want to do your voting a certain way, that you're there in person and that you're doing it yourself with your pen and not their pencil that they're giving you. There's a lot of arguments for, you shouldn't be voting, but in my
And I think we actually should be voting. And we shouldn't be doing a dummy vote. We should actually be voting, because voting is going to make the difference between us moving forward as a collective.
Well, there's a really interesting post that I saw today, and it was the best solution that I have seen, where they talked about having somebody in the freedom movement at a particular polling booth in every area. And if everyone in the freedom movement went to that particular polling booth, then they could be counted and recognized with their vote, right? So that you've got somebody who is actually, knowing what's going on and actually directing the channels for who's doing the counting and those things in every area. And I thought, wow, that is the smartest thing that I've seen, because if we are aware of where the place is to go, and I'm going then to the polling booth and I'm seeing Cheryl on the other side, and I know Cheryl is going to look after my vote and know that I've counted, mostly because of, if there's, I don't know, 3,000 people from the freedom movement who have come to that polling booth that day, then that's 3,000 that they can say voted, and we know roughly which way they're going to vote, in other words, for the independents, right? And so that those votes can't be counted in the wrong way. I don't know if I've explained that well.
Yeah.
But there's a good video that's actually in the group that someone shared, and I watched it and I went, oh. So everyone go back and have a watch of that. And while you're watching that, go back and have a watch of the video that we put together of the permaculture weekend, because I'm kind of proud of that. I think it's beautiful.
Mhm.
Yes, it is.
So there is, Emma, kind of revert back to you guys, because you guys were put your name down for the bushcraft survival about that weekend. Where is she? Still there, Emma?
I'm
Yeah.
here. Yep.
About going ahead with that weekend, doing the bushcraft survival, or moving it to another weekend so that we can be on site for voting, and maybe doing the 72-hour kit that day instead.
Yeah, I agree with Cheryl. I think we need to make sure that our vote counts. I just realised now when we started talking about dates, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, May 21st is election day. I'd love to do Jake's bushcraft, but that can be rescheduled. The election, however, cannot.
Cannot, exactly.
Yeah.
So let's I'll talk to Jake about that, and we will find another appropriate date for it.
Can I just say something? And I don't have an answer to this, but I've been told that the Electoral Commission now has capitalised our names. So that's Dog Latin. So it's Latin writing, all caps, but with English language rules. That's what makes it Dog Latin. And when you vote as an all caps person, you're agreeing to everything. It's an agreement to a contract. So you're a corporate debt entity, they're a corporation, and you're agreeing to whatever they decide to do. So I don't know how to get around that, because if my name's written, because it's always been capitis minimus, media. So capitalized first letter and lowercase name, the rest of it. So does everyone know about the straw man and the corporate entity that they create with your birth certificate and the sister quivi?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
100%.
so you're joindering with them when you sign in as an all caps person, because that's your corporate entity, your dead corporation. So I don't know what the answer is. So because I've been trying to decide whether to vote or not, because I want to make a difference. And I know the system is as corrupt as hell. What are you saying, Mike?
I have some thoughts on that, because I've been grappling with that myself, and I think I've come to a conclusion that can work pretty well. Is that we're all of us in a similar time are sort of coming to learn how fake the world we've been living in really is.
Yeah.
And you get more and more red pilled every day, and we keep learning things going, oh my God, I can't believe that was a lie, that was a lie, that was a lie.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like the Matrix movie, where he works out that the whole thing is a virtual reality, or we can just say a fake world. But he can't get rid of the fake world, so he's living in reality and playing in the fake world. So I kind of think about it like we could all deregister our cars, take our license plates off, burn our licenses, and technically we're being lawful and doing everything. But we would just make our life painful. So I'm thinking, even though the voting system, everything is as corrupt as can possibly be, we can play in that world. So I figure we learn everything we can about the truth, create a vision for the future, create these groups. But while this disgusting system is still there, if we can learn those fake rules and play with them, because that's what they've done, right? Like the corrupt elites have learned how to create a system and they don't follow the rules. So we can still play in that. So I figure while that voting system is still alive, as long as we learn all the stuff they don't want us to know, which is, you know, the painful thing where you put down numbers up to number 64 or something for all independent parties. If more of us actually do that, I still think it's worth it. The other
is too, doing it in purple pen, because purple pen, you sign as a living being.
Oh, I thought it was
in purple. Black is dead. So purple, what you sign as a living being. But also, there's only a certain number you actually have to number. I saw it on Reignite Democracy or somewhere. You don't have to do all 64. There's a certain number that makes it valid. So we need to find someone who's a scrutineer. I was on a Zoom call with the Common Law Group, and there was an ex-scrutineer there. So I'll see if I can track the information and put it in the post. But if you can get hold of a purple pen and do your vote in purple, that means you're voting as a living being, and you're voting for the Parliament of the Commonwealth of Australia, Constitution UK 1900, not in their corporate system.
Wow.
Awesome. There'll be no purple pens in the shop now.
Oh, I know about the purple and the red and the blue. They all mean different things.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. I thought it was. I didn't think it was purple that you had to write in. I thought it was
You
red or blue. I
thumbprint
actually-
in red, Kelly. You do your thumbprint in red, but you write in purple and fully justified. So in the centre, and you sign right as the credit
Yes.
and debtor on the left. Yeah.
That's what it is. Okay.
Wow.
Can you write that in the chat? So
I can put
Can
some
s-
links in for you to find out more about it. It's very huge information that it's been hidden from us, and there's lots to learn.
There's
I can-
lots to learn. I've got a 64-page
Names.
document that talks all about it, and I had to work out my own what I'm going to do about my situation. I don't know if you guys know, but I got sent some papers in the mail about filling in a survey, a health survey.
Oh, don't
oh,
do it.
with the resilience, with the resilience in it, I got one of those.
I just sent it back. No contract, no consent.
So
I didn't fill it out. I threw it out.
I threw it out too. I threw it out. The first one I threw out. The second one I threw out. And it says you have to register. And if you don't register, they're going to send around an interviewer. Well, the interviewer came to my house.
Mm.
Ooh.
And I wasn't home at the time. My friend was home. And he tricked my friend into giving him my phone number. And so he rang me, and I was like, "How did you get my number?" And then he told me, because she's so beautiful and loving, she would have thought it was one of you guys coming around to see me. And so he said, "Would you like to fill in the survey?" He uses these words, "like to," and I said, "No, I don't want to fill in the survey." And he goes, I said, "Hang on, what am I saying no to here? If I say no, what's going to happen?" He says, "I'm going to take it higher." I said, "Can I do it online?" "No." "Can I do it over the phone?" "No." He has to come to the house. He has to interview me. He puts the information directly in the computer. Depending on what I answer, it might be this person in the house or that person in the house. He has to interview further. Depending on what I answer, it might go on and go on. I'm going to
Offer a contract.
my lawyer. He said, "Yes, you can talk to a lawyer and we can do it at a time that works for you. I understand you're a busy person." I said, "So I'll talk to my lawyer." He said, "I'll give you a call back on Monday." Great. Of course, I took his phone number when he called. When I came Monday, I didn't call him. Come Tuesday, he calls me back. And I didn't answer because I now know his number. So I'm not answering the telephone.
Yeah, good.
Come Wednesday, a phone call comes in. I answer it. Oh, it's him. Dang it, it's a different number. He found me, tricked me. So I sent a message back saying earlier, if you want to communicate, it must be by writing.
Good on
So
you.
then he's on the phone. I said, if you want to communicate, you must do it by writing. And he was happy with that. Great, I'll email. He said email, but it means text message. And then I'm like, that tricky bugger, he found me. And I'm telling the kids something. And 2 minutes later, I look at my phone like, oh, crap, I forgot to hang up. Oops. So then he starts text messaging me, and what I worked out is I'm not saying yes and I'm not saying no, but I did say I have no contract with you. Okay, and I left it at that. I have no contract with you. And then the Easter came and I didn't hear anything. Like, phew, that was nice, peace and quiet. Come the next Tuesday, bang, he's calling me again, calling. Well, I figured out so far that if I don't answer his call and I don't respond, he can't take it higher. He can't do anything else about it. And that's what he's waiting for me to do. And he leaves voicemails all the time saying, would you like to do it? Would you like to do it at a time that suits you? I could, if I was not smart enough, I would fall for it and I would go, no, I would not like to. Bang, he's got me.
Yeah, what I do there, yeah.
Right. And then he would be able to take it higher. And then I would, well, what could happen? I don't know. I could get a fine or whatever. But
why would you get a fine? This is a voluntary thing. It's offer and acceptance, simple contract law. He cannot. You have no contract. You said it. I do not consent. No.
Well, I'm not going to say I don't want to, and I'm not going to say I'm not doing it, because I feel like it's also a trap. Because
so you do conditional acceptance and you say, yes, I will, but these are my fees.
These are my fees.
Counter
That's
offer.
right.
Yeah. $1,500 an hour.
Yes. So I haven't escalated to that level yet. I'm just keeping it at, I'm not answering his calls.
Tom Barnett TV is very good for this.
Yes. And I'll just wait and see. If he turns up at the door, then we'll deal with it then. But until then, if he keeps calling, I can just not answer it. So yeah, definitely there's some really good information and training out there, and one is if you ever do go to court, do not plead not guilty, because then you've already just entered into that agreement and you're in trouble the moment you say I'm not guilty. Okay, well, that was a bit of fun, wasn't it? All right, so we will make a date for our emergency kit and a new date for our bush survival skills. There's only a limit of 10 on that one, so as soon as I put the date out there, grab it, because it'll be another transformational weekend. It'll be amazing. So
I hope it's not the end of the month, because I'm going to Horsham to the Crown Group on the end of May.
Well, it might even have to be in June. Our May is filling up pretty quickly.
That's good.
So, yeah. Welcome, Hardy. I just noticed you there. Lovely to have you on.
Can I say, Kelly, if possible, I can't make the Saturday, as you know. If it's possible, could we think about Sunday, Monday, or something like that? Because I know
Mondays tend to be popular.
Sunday, Monday for the bush survival thing, I was thinking.
Oh, okay. I'll have to revert back to Jake for that one, because he's the expert there, and we go out to his property, so I'll check on with him. He actually does do midweek ones, so that could be a possibility.
Wednesday I can't do either, but yeah.
I'll keep that in mind.
Wednesdays and Saturdays. Yeah, I would love to come to that, because there's a community up in Mangrove Mountain I want to see. So yeah, excuse my noisy family here.
Beautiful. Well, it's gorgeous. Well, it is 9 o'clock. We kind of, that hour went by so fast. Does anyone else want to say anything before we wrap up tonight?
I just, with the election thing, I think something unfinalized. I just wanted to check, because I can't actually remember where I got the information from about finding out specifically which of the independents we want to vote for that we've done research on and know that are not going to other parties, and putting the specific numbers down to make sure that any votes that go to Labor, Liberal, Greens by default, how we minimize that process as much as possible. Has everyone seen that stuff? Did I get it from you? Yes. I can't remember.
Yes.
Topher Fields.
Pardon?
Topher Field. He's done lots of videos. Have a look on Reignite Democracy Australia. I'm sure she's got
Topher Fields. Yeah, he does the marble one where he shows where you vote for the independent. But there are some independents. I think Michael's talking about where some independents might be not who you think they are. So how do you know where their votes
I just got sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. A list of all of those.
Okay.
Put it on the chat, Cheryl.
Well,
Yeah, I've got to find it first because, you know, you read so many different sites.
So you know what? Do that, and I'm going to end the recording, and then just everyone stay on. But if you're watching the replay, thanks for joining us, and hope you can join us on our next courses and all the good things for the summit. So, and next week I have a very special guest on. So we're with our guest speakers, and tonight we have 13 people in our room, and so I want to get when we get over 15, we're going to do breakout rooms. So maybe we can do next week. Let's do breakout rooms. Let's aim to have 20 people on, and we can do breakout rooms, and we can all just chat and get to know people from your own state and suburb and cities. So,
Kelly, can I just say before you go, there was a thing by Derek Bolag who talked about how our constitution has been dissolved and the election is going to be a sham, and we're actually under WHO control now. So
yeah, as of the 10th of April.
Yeah, 10th of April, Derek Bolag. Do you want me to put that on the chat, the post from Derek Bolag? He was asking to spread the information around about it. You know, might be worth, you know, a bit of investigation if someone's got a little bit more legal knowledge. And so, yeah. Anyway, I can post that on there if you want.
yes, certainly, and we can. Yeah, that's all good. We all need to educate
Just try
ourselves.
stuff. We are.
So
We actually haven't had a constitution probably since at least 86, but maybe before, possibly even as early as 1908, when the Americans came in with their weapons at Alert. They were invading forces, and our Australian government is not the Parliament of the Commonwealth, and it's a registered corporation with the SEC in America. So who knows who owns it? It's not me. And I'm not employed by them, so they mean nothing to me. They're trying to fraud us into thinking that they do have something to do with us.
so
It's crazy.
there's a wealth of information, this group.
Yeah.
Does anybody know how to transfer from like normal Messenger into Telegram? I always have trouble.
I will help you with that,
sharing
Cheryl.
things.
I'm just going to
Oh,
press
awesome.
stop on the recording. So.
I think